international terrorism, you have to have regime change. That's what he is saying. So maybe Pete Hegseth hasn't seen the latest press release.
Is there anything that makes you confident that regime change is going to actually be the end result here?
Well, it depends on a variety of factors. Hegseth also said in his remarks this morning that Trump has already changed the regime. That's simply not true. And the idea that Trump is willing to talk to the interim counsel or whomever is asking to speak with him, that doesn't constitute regime change either. You don't change the regime in Iran by eliminating Supreme Leader Khamenei and replacing him by anonymous Ayatollah number one or anonymous Ayatollah number two. You replace it when this structure of the Ayatollahs in the Revolutionary Guard is swept aside. We still have a long way to go to do that. This is not a one and done kind of situation, and I think it requires much more coordination and work with the opposition than we've seen evidence of so far. So I'm wondered if just how well this idea has been thought through, given particularly that the National Security Council decision-making process has been essentially eliminated.
Hakeem Jeffries was just on saying that President Trump must get approval from Congress. They're planning to hold a vote on a war powers resolution this week. Do you think Trump should make his case to the public and the Congress before further action is taken?
Well, I think I think as a political matter, Trump needs to do a much better job of explaining the entirely legitimate and prudent reasons we have for undertaking this military action. I think the case is very solid. I don't think he's making it. As to Congress's role, this comes up periodically that Congress thinks it has to act first. That's simply not what the Constitution said, nor is it part of American history. This morning, just out of curiosity, I looked up on Google's artificial intelligence how many wars the United States has been in its history. And depending on how you define it, artificial intelligence, which of course is always right, said 235 plus. Let's just round it down to an even 200. How many times has Congress declared war in American history? 5 times. War of 1812, Mexican War, Spanish-American War, World War I, World War II. That means the last time the United States declared war was on December the 8th, 1941. Congress must have been asleep for these last 85 years, I guess.
But, I mean, Congress did, Bush did obtain congressional approval to invade Iraq. Like, there's the place in between, I know you know well. I know different than a war declaration.
Yeah, well, that's what the Constitution says. It doesn't say Congress may authorize the use of force. It says declare war. That's an important phrase. It means Congress can declare that a state of war exists, which changes the legal relationship between combatants and with respect to other states. The commander-in-chief authority vested in the president was written by people in the Constitutional Convention who had lived through George Washington's command of the Continental Army, dealing with a Congress that could barely get its act together. So they knew they were creating a strong chief executive by vesting the commander-in-chief authority in him. And if Congress is upset, they have their remedies. They can cut off appropriations for the war. Let's see if they can get a majority for that.
Ambassador, can you just stick with me real quick? We've got my colleague and anchor Jake Tapper on the line. He just spoke with President Trump. Jake, what can you tell us?
Hey there. So I just got off the phone with President Trump. It was a 9-minute phone interview, and we talked just about the war in Iran. I'm going to share some of it with you right now. The president said, quote, "We're knocking the crap out of them. I think it's going very well. It's very powerful. They've got the greatest military in the world, and we're using it." I asked the president how long he thought this military operation or war might last. He said, quote, "I don't want to see it go on too long. I always thought it would be 4 weeks, and we're a little ahead of schedule." I asked the president if U.S. was doing more than these military strikes to help the Iranian people regain control of Iran against the regime, to seize the country from the Iranian regime. And he said, yes, the president said, yes, we are indeed, but right now we want everyone staying inside. It's not safe out there. And then the president said, it's about to get even less safe. He said, quote, "We haven't even started hitting them hard. The big wave hasn't even happened. The big one is coming soon." We asked him about a bunch of other stuff too that I'm writing up and we'll share later on the lead at 5 p.m.
Jake, in your many conversations with him, did you get a sense of mood, tone? I think is what I've described, as he's been doing some interviews, especially over the phone, kind of just how he sounds in this moment as this is playing out?
He sounded very pleased with how the operation's going. He sounded very resolute in terms of the Iranian threats to the region and the world. Very confident about how this was, even though they did try to negotiate with the Iranians, so this ultimately was the right decision and the right approach, given all of the unrest, all of the terrorism, all of the menace that the Iranian regime had been offering ever since the revolution of 1979.